In 1998, we had to fight to be there at that meeting. Our Indigenous Environmental Network comes from grassroots. Our founders come from a community that respects the elevation and protection of our traditional Indigenous knowledge to confront acculturation and assimilation. And many of us, the right to wear our hair long because the colonial government wanted to destroy us, our language, through their colonial schools. And they cut the hair of our children, and they refused us to speak our language. So this was a campaign of the government of the United States to destroy the Indigenous peoples and to Christianize us, to acculturate us. But we fought, and some of us come from a long lineage of resistors. That is our Indigenous Environmental Network. So we're constantly confronting the system. And climate change is one of those areas where we have to fight to lift up our voices. As we got involved in 1998, I went to the United Nations Conference of the Parties, number 4. There were only 10 indigenous peoples there in Argentina, 10. It wasn't until the discussion around the commodification and privatization of nature, of trees, called REDD, Reducing Emissions from Deforestation, and later became known as degradation. When there was a discussion on the capitalization of nature, climate capitalism became a big discussion. Large NGOs like Environmental Defense Fund, Conservation International, WWF, they did not want Tom Goldtooth to be at the meetings. They fought us. We were establishing meetings with our Amazonian indigenous brothers and sisters who just wanted information. So it was very important that we be there and start learning about these complicated issues. I wanted to give that as some foundation. So centering on false solutions, we had Gustavo Campo, who came from here from the NASA Indigenous Peoples of Colombia. He made testimony on REDD, Reducing Emissions from Deforestation and Forest Degradation. And he told us that REDD involves a flawed system in this country, violating the human rights, the rights of indigenous peoples. And with other cases that I'm preparing myself, that's on the webpage, a whole list of different cases. REDD involves the privatization, commodification, and legalized enslavement of forests, of nature as human and corporate property, such as the fossil fuel industry of the North, which places the price on carbon on nature and creates new derivative markets that increase inequality and expedite the destruction of Mother Earth and her ecosystem. As part of a financialization of nature regime, carbon offsets, payment for ecological services, that puts a price on carbon that's sequestered in forests, in soils, water, and biodiversity. It's a climate false solution. So how to take on these regimes is very important. That allows the polluting industry, fossil fuel companies to continue business as usual. They greenwash. They put out terminology like net zero that was mentioned to go carbon neutral. And they focus on this and treat carbon as a commodity in a market trading system. So in order to claim property rights of the carbon in the sky, in the forests and forms of life, they have to go through a legal system. It's a property right issue. That's what it is, a property right issue. It's part of carbon colonialism. So in my testimony, I'm not going to go through the different articles. Only a few I will mention of the Universal Declaration on the Rights of Mother Earth. Some of us were there. But definitely, red projects violate Article 2 on the inherent rights of Mother Earth, especially her right to be respected and not to be commodified and privatized and sold in the market system. That's what's happening. Under Article 3.2, red projects violate the obligation to promote and support practices of respect for Mother Earth and all beings in accordance with their own cultures.